Hi lovers, hi, how are you guys doing? Daniel here. Welcome to my channel. Guys, it's like I'm using this mic here. Let me just put it as close as it can be because the other one is low. I'm charging it. My lips are giving up on me. I don't know why. I experienced these things in my first pregnancy and I thought it was stress. Now I'm fine. Then I think it's just whatever. I don't know what it is. Yeah. While this won't be a distraction, hopefully, I need to talk to you guys, and I'm so sorry that I'm not gonna get a stand and whatnot. I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable. There's something that we need to talk about, guys. It have been a while. I wanted to talk about it long time ago, but I've been lazy. I've been very, very lazy. I've been lazy. I've been lazy. So 2 months back, two weeks back, if not 3, I came across a doctor that was married to a man, a foreigner, a man from a different country, and she is giving an experience of how she ended up buying cars that are expensive for her husband, and she neglected the future for her kids, and she neglected personal growth, and she neglected herself. To me, when I am listening to this story of a woman, I think, or my brain is telling me that this is education. This is education to the next woman to say, please don't repeat the same mistakes that I did. And the husband ended up leaving simply because she woke up, she stopped paying for those expensive cars for him, and she decided to also just drive her own car, because after she stopped, it's like she was paying 15,000 for a Mercedes Benz, and then it got into a car accident. It was written off. Okay, then he went to take another expensive car when she was paying something like 20 something thousand per month for that. She was not driving that car. They don't have a house and she doesn't have a car, so she ended up buying a small car for herself, and then she was financially drained. She was very financially drained. The man was working, but he was not helping. The lady was just doing things all by herself. And these are lessons. As a woman, as people in a relationship, we should all help each other. If you are getting money, it does not matter whether it's $100, it's $200, it's $500. Bring it to the table. If you own a barber shop, you are working, you are not unemployed, you can take care of the expenses of the house. You can help her with rent. You can help her with food. You can help her with electricity or whatever that needs to be assisted in the house. But what did he choose? He chose to just be driving around with expensive cars, putting in petrol, and maintenance can't even be on him because those cars are insured. Definitely insurance will do the maintenance. Now, I don't really mind about my looks, guys. I just want us to talk. I just want us to talk. We must just talk. We need to talk. Now, upon the lady now coming, let me show you guys what I'm drinking. My baby's like this, omahongo. I just added a little bit of lemon twist. I'm not really a cool drink person, but I added this. It's what do you call it in English? Magongoshkan. What's English? Marula juice. This is marula juice. Okay, fine. I'm making a video for YouTube. Now, guys, let's talk. Let's talk. Okay. So I'll be drinking this as we speak. Also, I might be drinking my baby's juice. That's what the other baby wants. So you don't judge me. I also have a bottle of water. I'm always surrounded by food, guys. I'm a foodie. I love eating. Now, let's go back to the topic. Okay, now, guys, in the middle of these people not really going back and forth, the man ended up leaving the house, and he was living a good life. Apparently, he even ended up having a good car, and so that means this man is very much capable. He was just using the lady, and it's so sad that you cannot be using the other person for money like this. And it's so sad that these people just got married recently, but in them, not, I don't know whether it's recently or she bought this car recently. It's a few 3 or 4 years back. It wasn't far. But education on financial abuse have been here. Maybe it missed her. So please don't be too close-minded that you are not listening. Don't be too close-minded that you are having this thing of, yeah, you just don't like my husband. You just don't like my partner. You just pay attention if people are talking. People don't just talk for nothing. Pay attention. Make your own judgments, but pay attention and apply precautions. Apply precautions. You cannot afford to lose in life. That is when you end up losing yourself. Now, in the middle of everything, a baby was brought into this mess. And this is the reason why I'm making this video. A baby was brought into this mess by the father. I want to make this video as a mother that have a son. My baby is turning 3 years in a few months. And having to be a wife that stays with my husband. And my husband works on my nerves. He does so many times. He does, I swear he does. And I've had moments where I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you. I've had those moments. Now, with that well said, I want to say that is hard. I like to learn a lot, and I'm an observer. When I observe in my house, I've observed that this child loves his father. And he loves his father as equally as he loves me. I want to put it out there. This man might be nonsense in our eyes. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes they feed us nonsense. But they are fathers to these children's. That's all the kids knows. That you are my father, I love you. That's it. These kids in the houses, they do not know who's paying for electricity, who's paying for the bond, who's paying for the car, who provided what. They do not know. Why? Because as parents, we do not feed children this information. No. Why? Because we need our children to respect us equally, and we need our children to take education. Unless if they grow up and they start seeing their own things. But as kids, as parents, we have got zero business feeding kids unnecessary information. We are co-parenters, and we just want what's best for our children. Okay? Now, these kids, without knowing too much information, if we go to the shop right now and we buy this baby a toy, we come in the house together. We give whoever gives the child the toy, or whoever. Most of the time, more especially with the boy children, men will be more on the side of teaching them how to use these things. They will be more on the side of fixing these things. If a car is broken, then I would say take to your father to fix it, because there's no way I'm going to be fixing cars. If your toy is broken, take to your father. If you need your hair to be cut, go to your father. Let your father cut your hair. There are specific things in houses that fathers do. There are specific things in the houses that mothers do. Now, with this well said, kids most of the time wouldn't know where things are coming from. And as mothers, we wouldn't want our husbands to look useless to our kids. So most of the time, there are moments where we are going to cover them, where we are not going to cover them, where we are going to make sure that kids don't know. Kids wouldn't know who pays what, who doesn't pay what. Now, this man brings a child to the public platform that is so full of criticisms. Phone call record, and they are bad-mouthing the mother. And that is so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. The internet that is going to have so many comments about the child, so many comments about the mother, so many comments about the father. And the child is involved. Now, here is the problem. This child is not, first of all, before I go to this problem, as parents, sometimes when I go back and forth with my husband, and I'm saying this because the internet wants to portray relationships and marriages as perfect. Nobody really want to say we argue or we disagree with one another. Me in my marriage, I disagree with my husband. We go back and forth. We try to sort out issues. This is one thing that I've learned. I've learned to pay attention. And I've learned one thing. Try my level best to keep peace for the children's. Try my level best to make sure that a home does not break for the children's. However, I'm not going to lose myself. I'm not going to lose myself. I'm not going to lose my emotions. I'm not going to lose my health. I'm not going to lose my belief in God. I'm not going to lose myself because I need myself. I'm not going to be afraid of losing a man. If he wants to go, however, that is out of control, which happened in this situation. That man is the one that left. Now, this is one thing that I want to say to both parents. I am very fortunate to come from a home where my parents are married. They are married until today. And I will love both my parents. I love both my parents. I love them very much. I love my siblings. I love both my parents. They are my go-to. They are my safe place. They are my backup plan. Now, my parents are not perfect. They are having their own flaws in their marriage. But trust and believe me as a child, not my business. For years that I've been a child in my parents' house, I don't get involved in my parents' misunderstandings. If I'm sitting and they are misunderstanding each other, I just look at them. They finish talking. Me, I continue with my stories later. I just look at them. They finish talking their talkings. And then me, I continue. If I want to talk to one of them, I continue with my story. If I want to say good night, I say good night. If I feel like I don't want to be part of this, I'll stand up and go and let them sort out their issue. Because me, I'm a child and I want them to be together. I'm talking about simple misunderstandings. I don't get involved in my parents' stuff. In the morning, I'll greet them respectfully. So if anybody wants something, I'll give it to them. If I want to spoil them, I'll spoil them accordingly. Issues of my parents are not, I don't take part in them. I have never, ever, ever taken part in my parents' issues, and I don't take sides neither. I just look at it like it's their relationship. They must fix it. But this is what I want. It's very important for them to stay together because me, I love them both equally, and I want to be coming home. If I say that I want to come home, I want to go home to my parents. And also, I don't want them to separate. More especially with men being men, I believe and I trust so much that my mother is the best perfect fit for my father. You know, when they say we will give you onkwathi eko parera, I believe 100% that my mother, perfect fit for my father. And I know when my father is with my mother, he's well taken care of. And I know that nobody out there is going to look after him the way we as children are going to look after him in our home. Now, with that well said, guys, internet is not teaching us to solve problems, even if there are so many problems on the table. Internet is not teaching us to solve problems. Some of the things could be prevented from the very beginning. Let us prevent them. Things that can be prevented. If it means we must save homes for these children and try our level best to bring pieces in houses for these children to be in the houses, let's do that. This is one thing that I pick up. Let's do that. These kids love both their parents. I personally love both my parents. I'm not interested in my parents' little fights, little misunderstandings. I'm not talking about people punching each other. I'm talking about little misunderstandings. I'm not interested. And this child clearly is not interested in these parents. The child just misses his father. That is what I saw in the child. A child misses his father. And one thing about us women is that we can come here and be independent all we want. We are not gonna be father figures to those children. Why? Because we are not men. We are not men. We do not know how to teach a boy to be a boy. That is when it comes in for us to have problems of raising boys that want to turn themselves into women. Because we do not want father figures to be around men. And it's about time we put it in our heads that we are not saying we are going to walk around trying to keep marriages. No, if you want to go, go. You are not here by force. But we are just saying that men also don't marry people because you want to use them for money. And this thing of making children and then you leave, at the end of the day, these are going to be your children and you love them. You cannot, let me come to an issue of, I think I'm even getting angry. Let me not get angry, because these men have made me so angry that you cannot use someone's child for money and on top of that bring innocent people into a mess. Because you can really tell the other woman, the woman loves you. For her to do all those things for you, not only did she love you, she respects you. But you're draining her. You're draining her financially. You are draining her emotionally. You are not supportive. We are not, she didn't say that you were a bad person. There were days where you were a good husband. But on that area of finance, you didn't play your part. We are not talking about other areas. But in that area, you didn't play your part. And she's right. And she's right. And sometimes we must learn to accept our mistakes in marriages and apologize. Even if you are not coming back, just say, I'm so sorry I did you this dirty. I'm so sorry. Just apologize. The other person is not a rock. Just apologize. Now, the issue of a child, kids, sometimes I say I am matured enough to handle problems. But my 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old of that woman is not matured enough to handle problems. So if I am to put a scale and put someone to handle problems, I would put myself. I wouldn't put my child. I would put myself. I'd rather carry this problem because I know I do not know how it's going to affect you and I do not know how it's going to affect your future. So sometimes let us weigh our options, my ladies. Before you go on the internet, for as much as you want to teach people lessons, before you go on the internet and say, I want to pass on a lesson, take a seat and just ask yourself, how is this going to affect my children? If it's going to affect them in a negative manner, it's not worth it. In marriage, I am learning that some fights are not worth it. Some fights are not worth it. Ne? Some fights are not worth it. The internet is so ruthless. It's so people comment anyhow, and that's the internet. It's like we all of us are here. The one that have got the brain, the ones with common sense, the one that thinks, the narcissists, the criminals, the bad people, the satanic people, the Christians, we are all here on the internet. So when people comment, some of them, they don't filter. They don't filter. They give it as raw as it is, and they give it as bad as they want to give it to you. So the child is going to grow up. When the child grow up, they're going to have to hear that conversation. When they grow up and also learn their own truth and get to, understand life differently as a boy, it might affect them. It might affect their future. It might affect their future. Internet does not forget. So I think we must be mindful when we are including children's in our fights as parents. Let this be a very, very big lesson to say that it's not worth it. You know, in one of me and my husband going back and forth, my husband said to me, "You are not taking my son away from me." And I looked at him and I'm saying, nobody's taking your son away from you, you know. But in a way, if you critically think about it, if we are not understanding each other and we have to part ways or go different ways, definitely we are going to be fighting for the child. I want to spend time with the child. I also love my child. And there are things that I can't stand. Number one, I cannot stand my child not being in my presence or me not knowing where he is. I cannot stand it. I can't. And I'm not going to put that on a scale. I want to know how my son is doing, how my child or my children are doing at all times. And this co-parenting thing is not going to work for me, because if it means bring the child for a week, what do you mean for a week? No. Then I'm going to be forced to fight for the child, and I don't want that. So let everybody win. It's fine. I'm not going to go back and forth fighting for the child. Ne? And also another thing is that, what else did I pick up? Co-parenting is a topic that I think we need to talk about. Co-parenting cannot be done by parents fighting one another. Co-parenting can't be done by parents fighting one another, and also can be done by parents that can't talk to each other. Because if we say we are not on talking terms, we are not talking to each other now because we are hurt, it's not about you. There's a child. If the child is sick, the father needs to know. If the child needs the father needs to know. This co-parenting thing also, I think we need to make a topic on it. And so I took a time to think about co-parenting. And sometimes I look at this co-parenting thing and I'm like, I don't think I will excel in this department. I'm not saying that if it's presented to me, I won't carry it. I'm a soldier, I'll carry it. But I'm just thinking that I'll fail. I'll fail. Even now, my child doesn't go to any house. If I'm comfortable, my child going anywhere, it's to my parents. I'm so sorry. The rest, I don't trust nobody. If my child is coming, trust me, I will accompany my child. I just want to make sure that my child is safe. Call it an obsession, but I want my child to be safe. The world is so ruthless, so cruel right now. And that is the most important thing. More important than even arguments, than even disagreements. We will find the solution. We must find the solution. But my child needs to be safe. My child needs to be happy. So these things of co-parenting also, then it becomes a problem, because if the two parents are not talking to one another, the child is affected. You as a mother, you are not more of a parent than the father. So you think you are with the children because you think you are enough, but you are not enough. The child is longing for the father's love. The child is missing the father. Hence, the child can be easily manipulated because the child misses the father. Now, when the father is calling, the child is just saying whatever. The child feels feels like saying, because he misses the father. And you and the father are not on speaking terms. You can't even meet up. So let us be careful. I think we must learn something, a thing or two, and let us not put kids into our arguments. And let us be thoughtful of our children before we fight or make unnecessary decisions. That's what I want to say today, that let us be thoughtful. Yeah? Because if we are not thoughtful, our children are going to suffer. They are truly, honestly going to suffer. And that's just what I picked up. That kids suffer in the midst or in the middle of parents fighting their battles. They suffer because they love us. The least any child wants to see, is the two parents, the two people that the child loves very much, fighting. So whatever life throws at us, let us find solutions. And let us not use one another and bring children into the world. If then you know that the aim is to use the person, do not make a baby. Because you know then you don't love them. Ne? Don't make a baby. I think I needed to speak to both men and women and say that our kids are affected. And it's not funny. And they are already hurting by the fact that we are fighting. Now, if we drag them in the middle of our fights, kids have got no business inserting themselves in the parents' fights. Ne? They've got zero business. They've got zero business unless if you are matured enough and you are trying to fix them, to bring them back together. But if you are not matured enough, you are a baby, you don't understand life, you are not, you don't understand. The only time I would maybe get involved in my parents' situation is when they are separating, God forbid, and I'm asking why? Because they have to sit us down and say that we are separating, we are big enough. Then I understand why, and I understand as a woman, and then I really sit them down and say, you are our parents, and if you are separating, you have got the right to hear. If you are sitting us down to separate, you've got the right to hear me as a child, and I'm going to talk to the both of you, and this is my view on this thing, and I want you guys to consider it. If you don't want to consider it, it's still fine, but I've got the right to speak respectfully so. But the only reason I would speak to them is to mend them, that okay, I saw a mistake here, please, if you work on it, I think the two of you can still continue being together, and then we can be a happy family again, because we need you. Truth is, we need you, and then we can mend them. Apart from that, I have zero business getting involved in my parents fighting. I don't want them to fight. I want them to be at peace always. And our children are so young, they cannot bring us back together. They cannot tell us to be nice to each other. They don't know their children's. What they're going to hear is mommy is fighting, daddy is gone. And they don't even know what's happening. And they're emotionally affected. So if we can, as parents, let us try our level best to save our children in the middle of our fights. Can we fight with minds that are thinking? If there is one thing that I've learned the hard way, is that marriage or a relationship, this is where you need to apply your emotional intelligence. It's here. Not only in the streets, it's here. This is the time or the place where you have to be more smart. It's here. This is the place and the time where you need to hold on to God's hand. It's here. This is the time where you don't need to lose yourself. You cannot afford to hit the ground. You cannot afford to be hurt. Fix yourself. If it means detach from your partner and have your mind thinking, it's here. You cannot afford to be in a marriage but your heart is all over the place and your mind is not thinking. It's here in a marriage. Ne? And one thing that I've also picked up is that in this union, that is where you can also lose your health very fast, more especially with the STDs and the because a whole lot of nonsense also happens here. So this is also the place where you cannot afford to lose your health. It's here. So whatever you do, put protective measures. There is solutions applied to problems for a reason, and this is the place or the time where, as a married person, you apply solutions to problems. If God gave you solutions to problems, he provided them for a reason. Use them. It's here. It's in a marriage. But the main common denominator that the both of you have are children's. Whatever that you guys have to do must benefit the children's. You brought them into this world. We must protect them. We must protect their peace. If it means bring peace in the house so that you all don't keep shouting at each other. The kids are watching. It's here. Trust and believe. And some of these things you learn the hard way, and you learn with experience, and the kids grow. It's like kids don't want to see you guys arguing. They don't want. Me as a child, I'm not interested in seeing my parents going back and forth. I just want to see them happy. Of course, it's life. You can be happy every day, but if you guys are arguing over a small something, whoever put the cup where they're not supposed to put it there, whoever put what there they're not supposed to, we are not interested in those silly simple misunderstandings of life. We understand them. We just don't want big arguments that are separating you and affecting us. We love you. We want a home. Everybody deserves to have a home. Everybody deserves to have a place they call home. Until my age, a place I call home is at my parents' house, where both my mother and my father are at. And these kids also deserve to have a place where they call a home. Ne? Let us also not forget to pray for one another in marriages. Let us pray for one another. Ne? Satan is also part of destroying things. So pray for one another, teach one another, protect yourselves, and protect your money. Guys, money cannot afford to be played with in a marriage. Protect your finances if you want also peace in a marriage. Don't overlook the area of finance. Finance is very critical and it can lead to a lot of things. You cannot be happy if you are hungry, you are starving, you don't have money. You can't even keep peace. So make sure that money is not played with. Apart from other things, make sure that you guys in the house are not going hungry. So don't play with money. And don't and women that are not married, learn. Don't think, how can she be a doctor and she made a mistake. She's human. We are human beings. We make mistakes. Learn. And as parents, let us look into this situation and say that no matter how much we fight, may we not allow our kids to suffer in the middle of our fights. Very, very big lesson. Very, very big lesson. May we fight like adults because we have got kids. I think we need to mature. We need to grow up. Ne? We need to grow up. Let us not be reckless, or else the world is already harsh. It's already difficult. Our kids are not going to survive. They are not going to survive. This world is already cruel, and there's a whole lot of things happening here. It can be compared to the time that we grew up 35 years back. We didn't have so many things happening in the world. Now, a lot of things are happening in the world, and our kids might not be well equipped to face challenges of the world if us as parents already from the houses are falling apart. Ne? That's it from me, Hilma Daniel. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.